Mallery Stone in Ms. Woman United States. I welcome you, Ms. Woman United States. Welcome, Mallery. How are you today?
Thank you. I am doing so well. I'm so excited to be here and talking with you all and feeling the sunshine from Laguna on our backs. So it's a great day.
So you fell in love with this community when?
Oh my gosh. I moved out here 11 years ago from Boston. I had lived in Hawaii prior to that. That's a longer story. Moved out there with just 2 suitcases and a while ago. But yeah, I went down the coast when I was first coming out here, and I just fell in love with this community, how welcoming people are, and just the beauty we have all around us. I'm often found getting lost in the hills, seeing the goats, admiring the ocean, or in just one of our wonderful hikes, or at our farmers markets, or listening to music as well.
I am struck by your passion to help younger girls, to mentor younger girls.
Yeah.
Where does that come from for you?
Oh, thank you. That is just what makes my heart beat. Is I just love teenage girls. The teenage years are so fundamental for forming your identity and choosing what you believe about yourself and just kind of discovering who you are. And for me, there was a lot of vacancy in my family when I was growing up. My dad had about 5 rounds of near terminal cancer. He did survive, but as you can imagine, going through that 5 times, there was some emptiness in my family. I'm actually the only girl in 10 generations. So female mentors, yeah, really stood out to me. And at that point, people didn't really discuss mental health, but there were neighbors, there were teachers, there were older girls who would check in on me, and that really made the difference. And it just started something in me, that a passion that I couldn't stop, which is to invest in teenage girls. So I've been mentoring teenage girls for the last over 10 years, over 50 girls, and I just love them. Sometimes it's being a listening ear that's most important as they find their way.
And have you noticed that it's healthier for them to stay away from social media, and that sometimes social media, especially in the formative years of being a teenage girl, that sometimes social media is just the biggest weight on their shoulders?
Absolutely. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? And when you're developing in so many ways as a teenager, looking at comparison of what you think you should be in such a faster than even real-time moment is really overwhelming to the teenage psyche. So I, of course, encourage my girls to take time away from social media, to share if they want. You know, that's an important part of our culture these days, but to take breaks.
I need a break.
Yeah, we all do.
I think it's an adult issue too.
Right. Well, yeah. How often are you on? How are you almost?
Not as much as I used to be.
Right.
You know, when Instagram started, I thought, oh, I'll get in on the ground floor. You know,
right.
And you know, I was posting all the time, and I thought, I'm missing life. It got to the point where I wasn't seeing things live.
Right.
You go to shows, you go to events, and it's behind the camera that you're seeing it.
Right.
And I just decided that I had to, you know, just reduce it and not make that the focus.
You and I grew up in an era of not being social media.
Right.
When we were teenagers, no social media. There was still bullying. There was still picking on people for differences or whatever. But
and magazines. People magazines, whatnot, you know. But anyway, it's just that you miss life. You miss seeing things, you know, that will stay in your imagination forever. Thank God for those times when I didn't. When I think, like, the memories I have of things that I wouldn't have if I was just filming them.
Yeah, one of my favorite things around this time of year is just to turn off my phone completely. It's definitely a luxury as an adult, even if it's just for a couple hours a day maximum, because I know we're all on our phones. Like, I have to be on I work in mental health now, and I have to be on my phone to take those calls. But just getting that break is so refreshing for us, and that's where creativity can happen too. Those organic ideas versus the ideas that Instagram might be giving you.
Specifically in the mental health field, what are you doing? And I know you're focusing on teen girls and adolescents.
Yeah.
Is that where your expertise lies?
Yeah, so I work for Newport Healthcare. I'm a clinical outreach specialist. What that means is I speak with families, sometimes teenagers, and people who are providing for them. So that could be, the hospital that they're at, the psychiatrist they're working with, the school counselor, even someone from their church or the football team who's concerned about their mental health. And I help them to find the right resources. And then I also do a lot of education. So I'm out in the community every day, working with providers to provide education on what resources are out there, watch outs. And then in my personal life, I got involved in pageantry and I now do a lot of volunteer work for mental health.
When you called me, you told me you were Ms. United States.
Ms. Woman United States.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, come down, let's check you out, let's come down and let Ed meet you. So tell me how that started, and what's that like being in a world of, it's
and I'll ask,
different from what you do.
And I'll ask you the cynical question after that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's where I was going, but
it's a cynical question. What could that be? Okay, so yeah, I'm also a very spiritual person, and I never had thought about doing a pageant in my life. And I just kept on getting these signs. And, God has a really funny sense of humor. It's very personal. He gives you obvious signs through people, through images, through circumstances, whatever have you. So I kept on getting these signs, and I'm like, okay, God, I'll do it. And then I learned more about it. And when I learned about pageantry, I just thought this is just like glamour and vanity. And what I learned is it's not. Obviously that's a component of it. We all have a physical component that we present to the world. But what they were really looking at is your character. And if you bought this title, what are you going to do with it? So that really intrigued me. And, seeing my story unfold with what happened in my past, investing in girls, and now working in mental health, I'm like, I want to do this. So I did it. And in June, I became Miss California. Shortly after that, I was rear-ended in a car accident, but I did not let that stop me. 2 months after winning Miss California, I went to Memphis, Tennessee, and I became Miss Woman United States.
Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
And okay from the accident?
Yes.
Everything's fine physically? Okay.
Yes. It's been a progression, but doing good.
And now here comes the cynical question. So I had always imagined and firsthand experienced pageant moms. And the little girls that started pageants at the age of 4 and 5 and 6. And I found it was a brutal world for the child, because the pageant mom was actually living her life through that child.
Sure.
Do you, and obviously you're an adult and you don't have that, that doesn't happen, but little girls, should they even be involved in pageants?
Yeah, that's a great question. I am not a mom yet, not married yet, but I have obviously worked with children a lot, and I think you really need to see where that little girl's heart is and where her natural inclinations and desires are, because forcing a child to do something that they don't really want to do is obviously going to cause more damage that child then will need to deal with later on in life. Conversely, I am very close with Miss Teen United States. And that has been a really, really cool experience, because her name is Amber Duke, and her mom, Diana, they've now become my great friends. They live in Mission Viejo, and they are a team. Diana is supporting Amber, but this is really a natural part of what she would like to do and how she wants to make a difference. So I think it can go either way.
Making a difference is the key there, right?
Right.
That's what you need to do, use that platform.
Right. To get outside your own bubble and help others.
Yeah, I always said to people, when I was going to Ms. United States, I don't need this crown. I'm secure in who I am. But I knew that the crown and the title would open up more opportunities for me to tell my story and to give people hope. When I was going through that as a teenager, I became really shy. I didn't know what to do with my feelings. There was no mental health awareness. I did have people supporting me, but when you become shy, you stuff things down, you start to see a part of your identity that's not really real. You take yourself to be something that you're not, you truly aren't. And through my own journey, I've learned a lot more about who I am, and I'm excited to share that with more people.
I'm glad that you do share it with
And
people.
you're sharing it with us.
And you're sharing it with
I'm
us.
so
And
grateful to be here.
Our audience
Thank
across
you.
the country is digging it. I'm
Nice to
seeing
meet you.
right here from Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yay! I got a big
Hey,
yay.
hey,
All right.
Buffalo.
Well, your voice is
Buffalo,
beautiful.
New York.
It's very soothing. It's very sweet and friendly. And that's
Thank
why I
you.
was like, please come down.
Aw,
I want to
thank
meet you in
you.
person.
So you hold the crown for a year.
For a year.
Okay, and after the year is
Yes.
up, you will still obviously still be in the mental health field. You'll still be helping children and adolescents and others. Where does your career go? Where do you go from here after the year?
Yeah, that's a great question and something I often think about. So like I said, I do work in mental health right now, and I want that to become more of my personal mission. So I'm excited to see what partnerships I gain this year, and really to see what is tracking of what's important and what's relevant, not only to women, teenagers, but mental health in general. I know that our veterans and men also need a focus on mental health. I don't think I'm the right spokesperson for that. So to be honest with you, Ed, I don't have an answer quite yet for that. I know that I won't stop. More speaking opportunities, I won't turn them down, and I'll continue to work in mental health. But right now, I'm just putting myself out there. For example, I found a foster organization, Redeem Lives. Young Lives Redeemed, and we are going to do a makeup day for them. They're going to get their makeup done, they're going to get a photograph, and this was just an organic idea that came to me, going through the process of getting my makeup done and seeing a picture of me and going, oh, that's me, and seeing yourself in a different light. And I wanted to give that to women, so that was just something that came to my mind.
Good
And
idea.
I'm gonna let God lead me. Yeah, in going forward. I wish I had that. I'm a planner too, so I wish I had that. Like, this is exactly what I'm gonna do. But
Well, again,
it's gonna evolve.
Like you said earlier, a light bulb can suddenly go off, and you get all kinds of
Totally.
signs from other things, and then the
Yeah.
direction. There's lots of branches on the tree.
Yeah, well, yeah, and this is where I get my inspiration. I turn on my music, I go out for like an hour or two hike, and I get invaded with ideas. So I'm hoping to have more of that time this holiday season.
She
Do
is.
beach walks.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's my favorite.
Nothing more
Or
cathartic.
Rancho
Yeah.
Laguna, that like little quiet community where there's like the goats go and hang out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bluebird.
Uh-huh,
Right there.
Bluebird
Yeah.
Canyon.
I like
Yeah.
to take a goat for a walk on the beach.
It's so fun.
It's a
Sometimes I
combination of
hold
the
the
two.
little baby goats.
Really? All right.
Mallery Stone is Ms. Woman United States. I wish you all the best, and we
Thank
look forward to
you.
maybe having you back at some point.
Yeah, and if anyone would like to be in touch, you can find me on Instagram, Mallery Stone with an E, or Ms. Woman United States.
Okay.
Thanks so much for having me.
By the way, what a cool name, Mallery Stone
M-A-L-L-E.
and Amber Duke. I mean,
Yeah, right?
That could be like a cool band right there.
We might start that. Yeah, we do spontaneously sing and dance. So, yeah.
All right, Mallery Stone, thank you so very much for being here. Lisa,
you.
thank you very much
Oh,
for
sure.
coming across her and bringing her in. 10:21 the time. It's the Mornings with Ed show on the all-new Voice of Laguna.
I'm glad you reached out.
Thank you so,
Mallery with an E.
so much. That was so fun.